Welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast. I'm your host, Misty, and today we're talking about how to own the rhythms that you're in. We're going to talk about how women are meant to live in a cyclical way and how you can use the lunar phases, your menstrual cycle, and also the phase of life that you're in to honor your own rhythms. If you're new here, my name is Misty. I'm an energy and alignment coach. I've been working with women since 2015 on how to regain their energy, get their body back into balance, and step into more confidence. First of all, I want you to know you're not meant to feel the same way every day. We live in a world where we are expected to show up in the same way every single day. However, that's not how women were designed. So we have to first understand our world was made by men, for men. And men their hormones run on a 24-hour cycle. Women, our hormones are run on a 28-day cycle. So our hormones are not the same every single day. And so to expect women to show up with the same energy every single day is just setting us up for failure. Instead, learning how to honor your own rhythms can help you optimize your energy and also match your tasks to your energy levels. There's certain times of the month is better for different tasks based on what part of the brain is most active. I want you to think about the sun and the moon. So the sun stays in a sign for 30 days. It rises around the same time. It sets around the same time for those 30 days. However, the moon changes signs every 2.5 days, meaning this represents our mood. Women are run on lunar energy. We have a new moon every 28 days. It's no accident that our menstrual cycle is every 28 days and also the new moon is every 28 days. And many women are able to sync their cycle up with either the new moon or the full moon. This really depends on how much time you spend in nature and honoring those lunar cycles. So there's 4 cycles I want you to start paying attention to. The first is the lunar cycle. I talked more in depth about this in the Manifesting with the Moon episode I did a few weeks ago. We talked in depth about the new moon, the first quarter moon, the full moon, and the last quarter moon. The new moon is about planting seeds. The first quarter moon is about taking action. The full moon has to do with celebration, celebrating your progress, and also understanding the obstacles that are in the way of your goals. And then the last quarter moon has to do with wrapping up projects and going into a period of rest before the next lunar phase. In my upcoming membership, we're going to go into this more deeply. I'm going to be able to support you in a better way. We're going to manifest with the moon, and we're going to look at where the new moon is, where it's happening in your chart, how to work with it, journal prompts, all of that. And I'm going to help you align your actions to the new goals that you have set. The second phase, the second cycle I want you to pay attention to is your menstrual cycle. Now, I know not everyone has a menstrual cycle, but if you do have a monthly cycle, it mimics the lunar phases. However, it just depends on where you're at in your cycle. So there's the follicular phase, which is the period after your period, when you start to get a little bit more energy, this is when you're going to be open to new ideas, brainstorming, trying new things. And then we have the ovulation phase, is when you're the highest energy, similar to the full moon, but your highest energy, you're going to feel more social. You're going to want to go out more. You're going to want to just be around friends or be with your partner. The luteal phase is similar to the last quarter moon, and it happens about 2 weeks before your period. So this is like the longest phase of your period. It's 2 weeks long, and it's about wrapping up projects, and your brain is just like in this nesting phase. The nesting phase of when you're pregnant and the baby is just like a month or two before the baby comes, all of a sudden you just want to clean and declutter and get things organized and get things ready. That is a luteal, similar to a luteal phase, where you will just be in this energy of like wanting to get things done. And then when you're in a menstrual phase, that is when you're actually bleeding and your energy is at the lowest. You don't feel like doing anything. And actually, you shouldn't be doing much of anything. You can take your workouts down to just walking or stretching, a little bit of yoga. This is a great time for reflection. It's a great time to tune in. It's a great time to manifest. Start to set those, just understanding what you want next in your life. It's a great time to journal. It's a great time to meditate. You can also think about this as your inner winter, your inner spring, summer, fall. The third cycle you can follow is the circadian rhythm. Circadian is the sun. So getting up with the sun and starting to relax and turn down the noise as the sun is setting. If you think about the sun, it has to do with our energy. We get our energy from the sun. And when we are using and utilizing too much blue light through indoor lighting, our phones, TV, it messes up with our circadian rhythm. And so if you can start to tune into nature and getting outside first thing in the day, getting sunlight on your face in those first couple, within 15, 30 minutes of waking up, that helps regenerate the energy in your body. And by toning down and limiting the use of the blue light later in the evening as the sun is setting, and especially after the sun has already set, if you can minimize the amount of blue light you have, it's going to help you sleep better. The fourth cycle I want you to pay attention to is your cycles of mothering. It is so easy to see someone on social media and you want what they want and you see them have it all together and you see them doing certain things. But a lot of times we may be in a different phase of life than that person. When your babies are little, your time and responsibilities are very different than when your children are teenagers. When your children are elementary level, there's just different levels of responsibility that goes with each of these phases, as well as empty nesters. So I want you to pay attention to the cycles that you are currently in your mothering season. And so how can we sync up with these rhythms? So we talked about the circadian rhythm, getting outside first thing, and then tuning down as the sun is setting. But we can also set our goals based on the moon. When a new moon comes, we can set new goals, and knowing when to take action and when we're going to be in our highest energy, when we can expect the highest outputs. You can also schedule things around your cycle, your monthly cycle. I'm currently starting to do this more in my business. I've been working with the moon for years, and more I'm tuning into my cycle on. So if I know I don't feel like getting a workout in, and I know my period is coming, I give myself a break. Maybe I just walk on the treadmill that day. Maybe I go with lighter weights. Maybe I'm just doing yoga, but I'm paying attention to my energy levels as it relates to my cycle. But also in my business, I know like when I'm recording this, I am in the first 2 weeks of my cycle, meaning I'm in the follicular phase and going into the ovulation phase. So follicular phase, you're so creative. There's a lot of brainstorming, new ideas. So I am working on creating and batch creating my videos. So when I have all these new ideas and I know I have more energy to be on camera, when you're in your ovulation phase, again, you are the highest energy. You're also your most magnetic. So that is when I should be running live events. That's when I should be connecting with clients, doing podcast interviews. I should be aligning more of that energy. And then when I'm going into the luteal phase, it's about dotting my I's, checking off my T's, making sure things are in place. So that's when I could be scheduling things out. That's when I can be working on my back end if I need to work on my website, or things that are not necessarily with a lot of people, because when you're luteal phase, you are going more into like that introverted state. So I'm really working on batching things as it relates to my menstrual cycle to optimize my own energy levels and doing tasks that match the energy that I'm in for that week. And also just respecting the cycle you're in when it comes to your motherhood, understanding there's certain days that you're going to get less done. They're based on your schedule. I mean, it depends on if your kids are in school, if they're out of school, like honoring your responsibilities and the cycle you're in and taking advantage of the cycle you're in. And also giving yourself grace, because this is a learning curve for you. First of all, we weren't taught to live this way. And also, there's going to be times when life gets in the way and it's not going to work out perfectly. But just recognizing how can you make little micro shifts to better align to your energy. If you want to work deeper with this, I invite you to come into the membership. It is on pre-sale right now. I haven't fully launched. So if you get in before August, we're going to start in August and the price is going up in August. So make sure if you know you want to start living in alignment with your own cycles, and I'm going to help you do that inside of my monthly membership, the Sacred Alignment Society. Have you subscribed? If you loved this podcast, I would love it if you hit the like button, leave me a comment below, and also make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode.